AJ Madden here. Let's cover principle number 6, learn, 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 which is one of our 12 power principles from 1% Warrior Leadership, available on Amazon and my website, coachajmadden.com. Let's jump into the principle, learn, learn, learn. Easily one of the most important concepts in this book. Striving for a deep domain expertise. In the daily report card that I prescribe to leaders, one of the top 3 habits on this report card that you can have is 15 minutes of self-education every day. No exceptions, no excuses. 15 minutes of self-education. If you miss one day of it, not the end of the world. Just don't miss 2 days. Prioritize that 15 minutes. This could be 15 minutes reading out of a book. It could be 15 minutes of a podcast on leadership. It could be 15 minutes of an audiobook. It could be 15 minutes with a mentor or coach. It could be 15 minutes reading a high-level article. 15 minutes of listening to a lecture on YouTube or a video or a book summary on leadership. It doesn't have to be just reading. Oftentimes, people feel like it has to be reading. Self-education has to be reading. It can be, and I am a deep reader myself, but it absolutely does not have to be. It doesn't have to be. There are other ways to learn. Take in the information the best way that you can, the way that you enjoy, the easiest way for you, the one that you will consistently do, whatever that is. 15 minutes a day, that's the minimum effective dosage for leaders. You can get a lot done because that 15 minutes a day adds up quite a bit over the course of 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years. Now, you can become a real expert in leadership with just 15 minutes a day for a year, 2 years. It's quite extraordinary. It gives you a tremendous competitive advantage because learning, knowledge is the greatest competitive advantage. It allows us to take the correct action. It allows us to make the correct next move. It allows us to overcome the number one challenge that we're facing that may keep us up at night. Knowledge, learning from experts. All right, I teach a method. I call it the only 3 shortcuts to success. I call it the M3 method. 3 M's. Mentorship, modeling, most impactful material. In order of impact, if I could only choose one, it'd be mentorship. Go find someone who is 5 to 50 years ahead of you at what you want to do, who you want to be, and reach out to them and ask them to mentor you. And you will be surprised how many people will say yes. I've done this my whole life, my whole adult life, I should say. At the age of 19, I was a freshman in college. I asked the president of the university and the mayor of the town that the university was in to dinner and to form a relationship because I wanted them to mentor me. I wanted to learn from them. I wanted to learn from their wisdom, their success. I was 19. They were literally the highest positions at the university, one, in the town I lived in that the university was in. They both said yes and became my mentors because I asked, because I had the confidence to ask. I had the self-belief to ask, right? The worst thing they could have said is no. And all I wanted to do was learn. It wasn't about gaining some sort of status or power. That was honestly the last thing on my mind. And over 20 years later on my leadership journey, it is still the last thing on my mind, power or status. It doesn't matter. What matters is results and positive impact and setting a heroic mission and achieving it and asking people to help you along the way, people you can learn from, people who can challenge you to be better, right? This is why mentorship is the number one shortcut to success, because an hour with a mentor is worth 100 books in so many cases, right? An hour with an elite mentor is worth sometimes years with someone who is a good coach or has achieved good success, right? This is why I'm so passionate about this, because it can cut years and decades off your learning curve. It is extraordinary what mentorship can do. Now, you can also pay for it in the form of coaching. That is also an option. I do both. I have used mentors my whole life, and I've also paid for coaches as well. Because again, it's the biggest shortcut to success. I want to fold time. I want to leverage other people's knowledge. I want to learn what not to do, which is one of the most important things a mentor or a coach can share with you. What not to do, what to avoid. Don't do this. That's wisdom. Wisdom is knowing what not to do, what mistakes not to make. Because a smart person learns from their own mistakes. But a wise person, a really, really smart person, learns from the mistakes of others. And that's where asking a mentor those kind of questions, what should I not do, is so crucial. Number 2, our second M on our M3, only 3 shortcuts to success, modeling. Model success. Because we can't always be in front of a mentor, but we can look to model. Model successful people. It leaves clues. Stand on the shoulders of giants. It's much more accessible because we can read the biographies and autobiographies of the people we want to model. What do we model? How they think, the actions they take, their habits, their goals, the books they read, the mentors they have, right? Their process, what their day looks like. That's what we're looking to model. Thoughts, actions. How do we model? And how do we find out how they think, how they act, what their day looks like? Again, biographies, autobiographies, lectures online, articles they've written, articles people have written about them, listening to people who knew them or know them. This is how we do it. Extremely powerful. Modeling. The second most powerful shortcut to success. Examples from different disciplines. Jeff Bezos modeled Sam Walton. Oprah Winfrey modeled Maya Angelou. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, modeled Teddy Roosevelt. Michael Jordan modeled David Thompson. Kobe Bryant modeled Michael Jordan. Muhammad Ali modeled Sugar Ray Robinson. The Beatles and Elvis modeled Chuck Berry. Modeling is extremely powerful. And if you're not doing it right now, I challenge you to find some good models. And you don't have to model every single thing they do or say. Take what resonates with you and make it yours. The third most impactful method of our M3 method, the third shortcut to success, is most impactful material in the form of books, audiobooks, lectures, podcasts, the most impactful material about what you want to learn about. Now, again, the top of this is mentorship, then modeling, then most impactful materials in terms of shortcuts and their powerful impact. I challenge people to go to Mount Rushmore. Go to the absolute top of your field. Go to the top 4 and study and model them. Now, this will be subjective. You start with your top 10. The top 10 people who have achieved what you want to achieve. And you narrow it down to that top 4. The top 4 in terms of their success and also how much they resonate with you. When you look at that top 10, 4 jump out. Why not the top 20? Why not model them all the time or look to learn or read the most impactful material about them? Because you'll drown in information and ideas. Go deep into that top 4, that Mount Rushmore, and then expand. Spend the majority of your time on that top 4. When you get through everything you can, and I mean everything about them, then you start to expand beyond that top 4. If not, you start to drown in ideas and drown in information. So that is our principle number 6, learn, learn, learn. Here's a quote from John F. Kennedy. Leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. You know, I challenge you to outlearn the competition and never stop learning. It is one of the most inexpensive competitive advantages, if not the most inexpensive competitive advantage, learning, taking the time to learn, spend that minimum 15 minutes a day, that minimum effective dosage. I challenge you to do that and continue to be a learner. If you found this video useful, please click like and subscribe. If you found it helpful, please share it with someone else you believe will also find it helpful. This is principle number 6 from 1% Warrior Leadership, available on Amazon, my website, coachajmadden.com. This book is 20 years plus of leadership experience in the trenches and also some extensive deep research on the most effective leaders of the last century. And I know no matter what level of leadership you're at, whether you're a beginner on your journey or you're a seasoned expert and veteran, I know there will be many things in this book that you will find useful. I wish everyone success and happiness, and I challenge you to be a deep, deep, deep learner and do that minimum 15 minutes a day.